Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Man in America. I'm your host, Seth Holhouse, coming to you live on this Friday night in this beautiful week of Independence Day, which we'll be talking about this week. So there's a lot of good stuff to cover. Specifically, there are some a new wave of attacks on President Trump coming out, especially after this debate. There's a shakeup, as you've been watching completely. And so we're going to be diving into in today's show a few things. Project 2025. What is it? Are the talking heads on the left really honing in on this Project 2025 and tying it to Trump and his agenda for what has put forth as to what he'll be doing once he is president, if he wins, but also how it relates to Agenda 47 and a whole lot more. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm just going to play a video for you. Now, this video, I am assuming that this person is more of a liberal left-leaning person. It seems like they're trying to describe Trump's policies and what he's putting forth in a very negative light. Now, you listen and make the decision for yourself what you think of it. But let's just go and start with this. I'm going to play this video. It's about 2.5 minutes long because I think that it's important because this outlines the perspective from someone that is much more left-leaning of the threat of Donald Trump. So it's good to understand that thinking and see how it fits into the bigger puzzle piece here. So I'll play it for you again, 2.5 minutes or so, but it gives us a good outline to start this discussion. But it's pretty frightening stuff. I said in the headline, this is Trump's radical Agenda 47 plan. So let's just take a look because it's going to be pretty radical. Just watch this.
And here are the first 15 promises he has made if he is reelected. You may have heard of Project 2025, but this is from Agenda 47, and you can read all of these on his website. First, he promises that he will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history. He will also ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. He will close the Department of Education and return all education standards to the states to decide. He will put prayer back into school, and he will criminalize any race-based advantage programs. He will end the Affordable Care Act. He will ban gender-affirming care for adults and children, and he will ban any federal dollars from going towards gender-affirming care, which means anyone with government-provided health care will no longer be able to access gender-affirming care except for Viagra and Cialis. Those will still be available. He will propose a constitutional amendment that gives a term limit to Congress. He will deploy the Department of Justice to investigate the Biden crime family and any of his adversaries or political rivals. He will immediately pardon all of the January 6thers, and he will create a task force to investigate anyone who arrested, charged, or imprisoned a January 6er. He will increase the penalties for underage criminal offenders, strengthen immunity for police officers, and deploy the National Guard to patrol woke cities. On day one, he will reassess our participation in NATO and says that every European country needs to pay the United States for protection. He will also restore the wonderful travel ban for Muslims coming to America. He will build freedom cities. This is 10 new cities built on federal land. He will award them to areas with the best development proposals, and he will prioritize moving young families to these freedom cities. He will kill all e-vehicles and e-vehicle legislation, seeking to replace that with the development of a flying car. He believes that we could create a car that vertically takes off. He will remove all of the limits on American natural gas exports and drill baby drill for oil domestically. He will impose a tariff of up to 60% on Chinese imports. He will extend the 2017 tax cuts and drop the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%. He will push Congress to pass legislation that would give every American the right to concealed carry anywhere at any time. And he will revoke any gun restrictions or legislation that seeks to inhibit people's ability to own guns that's been passed in the last several years. He will demand that Europe pay back all the money we gave Ukraine, and then he will use all of that money to recruit for the American military. And he will take billions and billions of dollars from private university endowments by taxing, fining, and suing the universities. He specifically names Harvard in this one. And then he will use that money to create the American Academy. It is a free online college that will be free of wokeness that he will force employers to recognize as a bachelor's degree equivalent. So that's Agenda 47.
I mean, pretty radical, right? I have to say that if I was president, those are things that I'd probably be doing. I mean, those are things that I, by and large support. It's really about cleaning up America. Now, the reason why, so Trump's agenda, which I'll pull it up for you. So Trump's Agenda 47. So this is published on his website, right? Just donaldjtrump.com/agenda 47. And as we scroll down through here, this has been up. Most of these points were put up in the summer of 2023. So these have been up for about a year. And what he's done for each particular point is he has made a little video of it. There's a transcript and the highlights of it. So what's interesting though is that I don't remember seeing most of this, and in fact, I'm seeing it now. A lot of this stuff go viral as if it had just been put out. There's one of his policies about big pharma, which we'll be talking about, human traffickers. Like he's put forth that anybody involved in human trafficking, especially trafficking children, gets the death penalty. So a lot of this was put out again a year ago, but it's just now surfacing. I think a lot of people aren't really aware of it. But what's happening right now is there's this new media blitz about this Project 2025 and people lumping that together with Trump's Agenda 47. And so one of the main purposes of tonight's show is to just sort through this and look at, okay, what's Project 2025, what's Agenda 47, and even though these are about a year old, it might be the first time for many of you even seeing this, right? So let's take a look at this agenda, or the Project 2025. So this is a tweet that was put out by this handle, Biden Harris HQ, which is a pretty big, account. That, they've got close to 400,000 followers on Twitter, saying 4th of July under Trump's Project 2025. Now, this is a scene from The Handmaid's Tale, which I didn't personally watch this. It was a series, but from my understanding of it, what it does is it paints this really bleak dystopian future of where these like extreme right-wing Christians, if I understand correctly, basically take control of society and they impose this like extreme moral law. And so it's really, again, as I understand it, it is a very, very mocking movie, a series meant to make conservatives look really, really bad. So when you look at this tweet, and it's 4th of July under Trump's Project 2025, we've got close to 8 million impressions. This is meant to be a very bad looking thing. It's supposed to be like, okay, you should be scared of this because, again, as we're approaching the election, what we've seen consistently is that Trump is the fear mongering around him is that he's a dictator. He's going to come into office. He's going to seize power. He's going to weaponize the political system, yada, yada, yada. He's Hitler. He's a Nazi. He's Mussolini. He's basically every communist leader rolled into one and packaged and, put up there on stage for us. So that's what they want people to believe. Now, there's another thing I want to pull out here, which is interesting. So this is from a Twitter handle called Reddit Lies. And it says the hysteria surrounding Project 2025 is a disinformation campaign designed to scare people to voting for Biden. So this is important because this, again, why is this going viral right now? Because Agenda 47 was put out a year ago, but now since the debate, and you can see in this chart right here, right, you can see that this is the mentions of Project 2025 on Reddit before and after the Trump-Biden presidential debate. So Reddit is a good, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's a massive kind of online forum community. But similar to Twitter, it's a good heartbeat of topics and people are talking about, but it's also where you can see the control of the narrative being injected, right? So what you see right here with this chart, of the mentions of Project 2025, that basically right after the debate, it went, before that, it was averaging about 48 mentions per hour. Now it's over, hitting 200 mentions per hour, and it looks like it's continuing to climb. So you can see that there's some sort of campaign going on here, and I doubt it's organic. So I'm also going to pull up here a recent video of Miss Clinton talking about this. Now, this is, again, another tweet put out by Biden Harris HQ, where Hillary is saying, if Trump gets near the White House again, it'll be like having a dictator. Read Project 2025. They want to fire everyone who is qualified. Just think about the chaos during COVID. We lost thousands of people because Trump was such an inept leader. This is Hillary coming out. So I'll play this video, but pay attention to how she, just the words that she uses and how she speaks about this Project 2025 and how they're grouping it together, right? So they're basically saying that they're one and the same, as if this, Project 2025 is Trump's platform. So I'll go ahead and play this for everyone. So just take a listen. It's 1:34.
The kind of threats that you hear coming out of Donald Trump should scare every American, because with an authoritarian, you never know what side of the bed they'll wake up on. You never know who they're going to be upset with today. You never know if somebody, basically bribes them by giving business to a relative or, some other gift, that they will try to destroy one business to advantage another. You just never know, because they don't believe in the rule of law. They don't believe in institutions. And therefore, if you give them a chance to be more unfettered than he was in his first term, when he was trying to figure out what he could do, and he had actually some people around who were restraining him, that is all going to be gone. If he ever gets back near the White House again, it will be like having a dictator. And I don't say that lightly, but go back and read Project 2025. They're going to fire everybody. Oh, the person in, the government who knows about what may be the next pandemic, get rid of him. He didn't vote for me, or I don't, like the way he looks. I mean, just think about the chaos and the instability that we got through with COVID, although it cost hundreds of thousands more lives than it should have, because he was such an inept leader when we needed somebody to really grab hold and guide us through this unprecedented global pandemic.
Now, what was interesting there, she said when she's talking about how he's going to fire everybody, and she's saying, well, yeah, what if someone knows when the next pandemic is coming and he gets fired? It's almost like, isn't that what we just witnessed? We had this group of people. If you're looking at Event 201, all these individuals, you had Fauci warning ahead of time that they knew the pandemic was coming. I mean, isn't that like the definition of the deep state that has taken hold in our country, that they don't only know when the next pandemic is coming, but they're actually making it. They're making it in a lab in your backyard here in America to launch on us, the people. So it's just interesting the phrasing of that. But again, you can see they're trying to associate him with Project 2025 and all these things. So, okay, let's take a look at what is Project 2025. So I'll pull up the website here. And I look, I haven't done a deep dive into reading this. I can tell you if you go into policy, it's a thick book. It is a very, very, very detailed book that's outlining basically it comes out of the Heritage. I think it's the Heritage Foundation, but it's a big conservative think tank that has brought all these people together to, these conservatives. And so if we come and you look at the, let's see, the playbook, I think that you come here and you can see there's an outline of it, which I could show you. You can see the authors, right? So some of them you're going to recognize. So, like for instance, the DoD outline section 2, Christopher Miller. Okay, I'm sure he has great things to say. There's something about, I think it was Health and Human Services, Department of Housing and Urban Development, right? Ben Carson, right? So there's intelligent people that are adding to this. But what they've done is that they have taken a lot of the elements of this and they have completely conflated it. Now, one thing I have to put out here really quickly is that, let's see, there is a statement, if I have it up here, I'll pull it up in a second here, where Trump has come out, and let me find it really quickly here to show you about this. Yeah, here we go. So Trump has come out, and on Truth Social, he put out this truth, I think you'd call it, saying, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them, right? So this is just this morning that he put this out. So it's clear that he's trying to separate himself from this Project 2025. Now, let's look at how they're describing it, right? So is this we'll pull that up. So this is from some Dr. Haynes on Twitter. And again, I think this one got, almost 3 million as of yesterday, almost 3 million views. So you can see that there is a pretty big push for this exposing this Project 2025 agenda. So let me just write what they say about it, right? Now, I'm not verifying, I'm not saying that what they're writing here is the same as what's in that thick book, the playbook. But again, it's important to understand how it's being, the picture is being presented. So here, eliminate the Department of Education, which I know Trump has talked about that, which I agree with personally. Use public funds to pay for private religious schools, encourage Christian indoctrination throughout public schools, dismantle civil rights and DEI protections in all levels of government, eliminate no-fault divorce, total ban on abortions, ban all contraceptives, which that's so extreme. Like I highly doubt that ban all contraceptives is a part of Project 2025. That's like basically like you can't buy condoms at the grocery store anymore. It's kind of strange. Ban African American and gender studies in all level of education. Tax cuts, eliminating unions and all worker protections. So they're basically trying to paint the picture that Trump will literally get rid of all unions in America. Okay, eliminate all climate protections. Again, that's a very sweeping statement. It's like I'm all for certain what you call climate protections, right? So things that are put in place to preserve, help our air, our water. There's massive pollution. Like, how about we stop chemtrailing for one? Okay, it'd be great. But they're making it seem like he's going to just completely just take everything off and make it so that we're just pumping toxic waste into the earth, et cetera. Encourages Arctic drilling since the ice caps are melting. Of course, they're melting. Eliminating regulations of big business and oil. Raise the retirement age. Eliminate Social Security for the elderly and disabled. This again is something they're trying to associate that he's going to get rid of Social Security, but I think most intelligent people that are talking about this are saying, actually, no, it's going to run out, right? Within the next probably 5 years, it's just going to run out of money because they've spent all that money. So condemn single mothers while encouraging a traditional family. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I shouldn't condemn single mothers, but you should certainly encourage a traditional family. Anyway, banning Muslims, banning books and curriculum regarding slavery. So you can see, though, what this has done is they're pulling probably some elements out of that playbook, but they're taking it and putting it into their own words and what it means, and they're taking it to the extreme. But again, this is important that we understand these are the talking points that are being spread around that are being tied to Donald Trump. Now, again, he's come out and he's saying, look, I have nothing to do with that, but it's still important for us to take a look at that. So I've got a few more, let's see, things to show you here. So let's start, now that we've looked at, okay, we've got this Project 2025 going viral. It is now creating this sensation. Hillary's talking about it. It's blowing up on Reddit. It's blowing up on Twitter. And they're using it as this next wave of attacks to basically paint this picture that this guy's going to come in, he's a dictator, and he's going to completely upend our government and draw the rest of the conclusions. Now, the one thing I'd say is that our government, in a lot of ways, does need to be cleaned out. I mean, it truly is a deep state. There is so much deep state bureaucracy and corruption that it needs to be like, we need to have some big changes that happen in this country. Because if we just continue as we're going right now, we're going to be the USSR in a few short years. But what I want to do, though, is I want to just take a sober look at what Agenda 47 actually is. Like, let's take a look at some of the details of what it is, because there's actually some really cool stuff in there, and there's some exciting stuff. To be honest, like, it's actually quite exciting. But okay, quickly, before we jump into that, just have a quick message from one of our sponsors. So one of the show sponsors is Balance of Nature. So Balance of Nature, so it's balanceofnature.com. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with these guys, but they make these basically these little capsules that have freeze-dried fruits and vegetables and all the nutrients inside of them. So the idea is that you're supposed to eat your fruits and veggies every day. They're really good for you, but most people oftentimes can't because of things are out of season or you're busy. And you take these fruit and veggie capsules and they give you the nutrients that you normally get, which is great. Okay, the way I look at it though is I'm thinking this. Okay, I'm a prepper, so I'm going to buy these things. I'm going to stockpile them. And I'm going to put them in my basement because if we're in a situation where there's a food shortage and I don't have access to fresh fruit and vegetables, and maybe my freeze-dried rations have dried up, these are still going to be something as like a backup. These pop a pill. It's going to give you a lot of the nutrients that you'd normally get from eating your fruits and vegetables. So even though they're promoting it as a daily thing, just like your vitamins, you take your daily fruits and veggies, which is great. I'm looking at it and saying, okay, hey, this is a good survival thing. So anyway, they've got a great sale going on right now. I think it's up to 50% off. It's using promo code Seth. That's SETH. So it's balanceofnature.com or 1-800-246-8751. Okay, so jumping back into Agenda 47 and what it is. Okay, so this is Trump's main website. Again, it's donaldjtrump.com/agenda 47. So if we're going to look at what some of these different points are here, okay, some of these agenda points. So this, okay, how you, if you want to look at this website yourself, here's how you navigate it. You come in and they have all different things listed here, right? So let's just say no welfare for illegal aliens as an example. So this was put out November 1st, 2023. So you click on it, it comes in, it has a little bit, it has a transcript, but then it has a summary above that. So you can see, like, again, look for yourself. And if you, let's just say that you have friends or family that are saying, look, I saw this Project 2025 thing and I'm really worried, point them to this. Just say, go, look, just go like, go find it from the horse's mouth. This is the website that outlines exactly what it is, right? So here, for instance, it says, President Donald J. Trump announces steps he will take on day one to end welfare for illegal immigrants and shut down Joe Biden's abusive parole authority. Okay. There's the American Academy, which this is very interesting, right? So the American Academy, what this is actually, I'll play some of this video for you. Okay, so this you can look at because we know how key education in America is right now, and we know how much damage has been caused by our education system in a lot of ways being taken over by Marxists. Now, one thing I think Trump has talked about is shutting down the Department of Education and passing it down to the states, which in my opinion would be an excellent thing for America because that, even though maybe at the beginning it seemed like it was perhaps a good idea to centralize a lot of the education and the curriculum, what happens is that what centralization does is that it makes it easy for an enemy to somehow infiltrate, seize control of that, and then take it and then start using it to propagate their own ideas. This is absolutely what's happened to our education system. It's been really hijacked by people with very Marxist and communist leanings, and that has since been injected into the curriculum. Not to mention the dumbing down of our children and the not teaching them real things that they need to be learning. Like there's no home ec anymore, no shop class. No one's teaching personal finance, sales negotiation, true life skills that they need because they want to breed these factory workers. They want cubicle workers. They want people that can't fend for themselves, that don't have an entrepreneurial spirit because those are the people they can bend to their will, basically. So I'll play a little bit of this actually, because this is the American Academy, I think, is a very fascinating thing that is quite exciting to me because I think that education is actually really, really, really critical.
In recent weeks, Americans have been horrified to see students and faculty at Harvard and other once respected universities expressing support for the savages and jihadists who attacked Israel. We spend more money on higher education than any other country, and yet they're turning our students into communists and terrorists and sympathizers of many, many different dimensions. We can't let this happen. It's time to offer something dramatically different. Under the plan I'm announcing today, we will take the billions and billions of dollars that we will collect by taxing, fining, and suing excessively large private university endowments, and we will then use that money to endow a new institution called the American Academy. Its mission will be to make a truly world-class education available to every American, free of charge, and do it without adding a single dime to the federal debt. This institution will gather an entire universe of the highest quality educational content covering the full spectrum of human knowledge and skills, and make that material available to every American citizen online for free. Whether you want lectures or ancient histories or an introduction to financial accounting or training in a skilled trade, the goal will be to deliver it and get it done properly. Using study groups, mentors, industry partnerships, and the latest breakthrough in computing, this will be a truly top-tier education option for the people. It will be strictly non-political, and there will be no wokeness or jihadism allowed. None of that's going to be allowed. Most importantly, the American Academy will compete directly with the existing and very costly four-year university system by granting students degree credentials that the U.S. government and all federal contractors will henceforth recognize. The Academy will award the full and complete equivalent of a bachelor's degree. In addition, to help the 40 million Americans who have some college education but no degree, the American Academy will grant credit for past coursework at legacy institutions and give you the chance to complete your education at the American Academy for free and much more quickly than is now possible or available. This will be a revolution in higher education.
So this alone is absolutely significant, because you can see how much of a role the colleges in America have played in transforming our nation. And go look at your Antifa riots or whatever it is, and it's young college kids. I mean, even look at I interviewed James Lindsay recently, who's an absolute expert on communism and Marxist infiltration into our country, and look at the amount of young people that are pro-communist or pro-Marxist. The amount of young people that are now identify as LGBTQ plus. You can see that the education system has played an insanely negative role. So what he's talking about here is basically suing these massive, Harvard, for instance, they've got insane amounts of money from grants, et cetera. So suing them because they're doing all kinds of bad shenanigans, as you probably know, but then taking that money that they gain in addition to other funding and building this America Academy. So think what what's it do though? Because if they set this America Academy that is not teaching woke garbage and is actually teaching you life skills that you need to get a job, to become an entrepreneur, to manage a company, whatever it is, and they're offering it for free, like what happens to all these colleges? What happens to all these colleges that these parents are working so hard and they're sending their kids off to college or paying $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year, $50,000 a year even, to send their kid to some college, and their kid comes back with a shaved head and an Antifa shirt on. I mean, this undoes that entire system. Like, it's really, really significant. So let's jump back in just to kind of look at a few of the points of this Agenda 47, because let's just call it for what it is. Let's just talk about what it is. So, President Trump's pledge to homeschool families, his low energy costs. Of course, he's bringing back a lot of the oil, drilling for oil. It said, drill, baby, drill. This is a big one. Right? President Trump calls for death penalty for human traffickers. Like, that's huge. Like, again, we know the role that human trafficking has played in the corruption of our country. We know how the role of the border with human trafficking. I've interviewed people that are involved in a lot of the human trafficking and saving people from sex trafficking. This is how there's so much corruption in our country that's rooted in human trafficking. It's also the drug trade and all that, but the sexualization of children, honeypot, blackmail networks. I mean, it's insane. So the fact that he wants to bring back, basically calling for the death penalty for people that are caught doing human trafficking and sex trafficking it's actually pretty amazing. So I'll read a little bit of the transcript. It says, in an Agenda 47 policy video, President Donald J. Trump pledged to end the scourge of human trafficking and defend the dignity of human life. He says, I will urge Congress to ensure that anyone caught trafficking children across our border receives the death penalty immediately. I mean, I'll tell you what, this is how you stop crime from happening. is you put on a death penalty immediately, people stop doing it. It's pretty simple, folks. Okay, so that ending human trafficking. Let's continue. A big one is rebuilding our military. Huge. Again, protecting students from the radical left and Marxist maniacs infecting educational institutions. Like, that's big. Protecting Americans by taking on big pharma and ending global freeloading. There is, let's see. Okay, this is another one. This is a key one I want to play for you. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of Operation Warp Speed and my thoughts on that, and we'll see how that plays out. But I at least want to play this for you, because this is like, if you're a medical freedom type person, as I am, this is a major, major concern. It's the act of, I think it was 1986, what Reagan put in, that basically gave all these big pharma immunity for their jabs. It unleashed a massive epidemic in America of sickness that, again, where does it all come from? I don't know. So I'm going to play this one for you, though, because this is a key one. This is one of the videos I came across recently that I hadn't seen before. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is pretty serious stuff that he's talking about. So I'll go and play this for you. It is about 2 minutes long.
In recent decades, there has been an unexplained and alarming growth in the prevalence of chronic illnesses and health problems, especially in children. We've seen a stunning rise in autism, autoimmune disorders, obesity, infertility, serious allergies, and respiratory challenges. It's time to ask, what is going on? Is it the food that they eat, the environment that we live in, the overprescription of certain medications? Is it the toxins and chemicals that are present in our homes? Every year we spend hundreds of billions of dollars to treat these chronic problems rather than looking at what is causing them in the first place. Too often our public health establishment is too close to big pharma. They make a lot of money, big pharma, big corporations and other special interests, and does not want to ask the tough questions about what is happening to our children's health. If big pharma defrauds American patients and taxpayers or puts profits above people, they must be investigated and held accountable. When I'm back in the White House, I will establish a special presidential commission of independent minds who are not bought and paid for by big pharma, and I will charge them with investigating what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic illnesses. I understand big pharma, I believe, better than anybody else. I know where they're coming from. And then I will ask them to publish recommendations for how every American child can have a safe and healthy childhood. This is a conversation that is long overdue, and it's a conversation that American families deserve. American families must have this conversation, and they must have a leader, a president, who can do something about this problem. And I will do that. Thank you.
Pretty big words to be going after this. And again, we'll see. Like, again, there's all, politicians, there's all these promises until they get into office. But again, as I said earlier on, I think it's worth looking at this because there's all kinds of misinformation going on right now about what his plans are, and they're tying it to, the Project 2025. So let's actually take a look at this. There's something I'm going to pull up for you now. This is a tweet that was put out that highlights. So this is something interesting, is that this whole Salute to America 250. So I'll pull this up right here. So this is so something interesting. One of the videos he made was this Salute to America 250. So let me go ahead and read this for you because this is, I think, and to be honest, this is quite exciting. But what he says, it's a 1-year celebration of 250 years of American independence. So it's convene a White House task force called Salute to America 250, responsible for coordinating with state and local governments to ensure not just one day of celebration, but an entire year of festivities across the nation, starting Memorial Day 2025 and continuing through July 4th, 2026. So what's interesting, though, he says, work with all 50 governors, Republican and Democrat alike, to create the Great American State Fair at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, a unique 1-year exhibition featuring pavilions from all 50 states. He's hosting high school sports contests, bringing back this national garden. Basically, I mean, so I've seen a lot of as we enter into June, and there's a lot of the discussions over, we have one day for Memorial Day, we have one day for Independence Day, yet we have an entire Pride Month, right? So we spend 30 days celebrating Pride, yet we spend one day celebrating the birth of our country, right? And the day we gain independence. So the idea of having a year-long celebration, right? Like an entire year-long celebration is amazing to me. But what's also interesting is the discussion of this kind of state fair. I'm not sure if you recall, if you remember, you probably weren't alive for the original ones, obviously, but the World's Fairs, right? Where they used to have these World's Fairs, they bring in like technology and amazing things from all over the world. And there's a lot of really interesting rabbit holes you can go down looking at the World's Fairs. But part of the ideas with them is that they were these places where this really amazing technology was showcased, and a lot of technology that's no longer accessible to us. But it makes me wonder, again, especially with him talking about flying cars and these advanced things, it makes me wonder if this is kind of the America's version of the World's Fair, where he's going to be bringing in, maybe unveiling new technology. Who knows? It's hard to say. But anyway, I think that hopefully this has been helpful to you, at least to kind of give an overview. There's a lot more that he has. I'm not going to be diving into all of this, but on this website, you can see jumping in, and you can go through and you can watch and listen to any of these things. But here's the World's Fair, 250 years of American independence at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. Day one executive order ending citizenship for children of illegals and outlawing birth tourism, right? People, it's kind of coming into the country just to have children become citizens. So a new missile defense shield, stopping Chinese espionage. So anyway, it's right here for you. You can see it all right in front of you. Take some time to read it, formulate your own ideas. It's whatever you want to make of it, really. That's exactly what it is. It's whatever you want to make of it. So, as we are, wrapping up for today, this wasn't going to be an overly long episode. It is July 4th week. And July 4th was a special day of reflection on the country. And as we're celebrating independence, it's looking around this country, I think that we're very close to losing that, but it's not a bad thing because I think we need to remember what it means. So I have a short little video for you to play the Star-Spangled Banner, National Anthem. So here is you've probably seen this perhaps, it's Chris Stapleton playing the national anthem at the NFL. And I forget how many years back this was, but it's something that the national anthem has always struck a deep chord with me. And there's just his performance and watch this video, seeing these grown men cry at hearing this, I think it's moving. So I'll play this for you, and we'll have a few words after that, but just check this out.
To honor America with the performance of the national anthem, 8-time Grammy Award winner, Chris Stapleton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular upon
You got to love that. And look, I can't say I agree with Stapleton and his, you know, political views, or, most celebrities. It's unfortunately they get consumed by the system. But you have to give it to that song. It's absolutely an amazing song. And I also want to comment too, because when I'm playing the video, I get a chance to look at the chat, and it's funny how many trolls that we attract. It's looking there in the Rumble chat, and it's a mess in there. I appreciate the people that are in there trying to have some sort of order and trying to have some sort of rationality in there. But it's good though, because it shows me that I'm over the target. It shows me that what I'm talking about, people don't want you to hear this stuff. So it's a good thing. So I appreciate all the trolls that are here, being trolls and being nasty. Thank you so much, because you affirm this is my mission, and I'm heading in the right direction. So one final thing as we are concluding, there is a documentary. So there's a documentary called Beneath Sheep's Clothing, which is coming out very soon on salemnow.com. And I interviewed Julie Belling earlier this year, who is one of the main people behind this documentary. And the documentary, which I'll play the trailer for it, it's really focused on exposing just the Marxist infiltration and takeover of America, and look at what we can do about it. So I haven't seen the film yet. Julie is an incredible woman. The interview I did with her, I really enjoyed speaking with her. She was actually, I think, a Christian missionary that was in the Soviet Union just after it had fallen. So she learned a lot from being over there. But I'm going to play this trailer for you as we wrap up today's show for Beneath Sheep's Clothing, because it's coming out soon. The website is beneathsheepsclothing.movie, or if you want to watch it, it's going to be released on Salem Now. So it's salemnow.com. So salemnow.com, and here it is. So I'll go ahead and play the trailer for you. So enjoy this, and I'll be signing off after this trailer. So thank you, everybody. It's beautiful coming here. It's great having these live shows. I love all the trolls. Thank you for trolling us and what we're doing here. We appreciate it. And more so, I appreciate the people that are standing up for goodness in these chats, because these chats get nasty. It's like, well, I don't know what people think, that they can put some avatar. Here I am, I'm some guy, right? You know who I am, you know what I look like. I'm doing this of my own will, sitting in front of you, sharing these views. And yet you have these people hiding behind some name, like whatever screen name they are. There's no picture. They're completely anonymous. And they just trash everything. It's like, come on, people! Like, really? Like, if that's you, if you're one of those people that that is won't even show your name on your profile, and yet you're talking all kinds of negative trash, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that. Not a fan, especially for people like me that like risk a lot of stuff to come out with these viewpoints and discuss this publicly. So anyway. Just want to give a shout out to our trolls. Thank you. All right, so folks, here is the trailer for Beneath Sheep's Clothing. Again, salemnow.com is where you can watch it when it's releasing very soon. So check it out.
About communism. When it comes knocking at your door, it doesn't say, "Hi, I'm here to impoverish, enslave, and murder you." It says, "I'm here to liberate you from oppression."
I thought of myself as a happy kid. I had no idea that I was being brainwashed.
So the KGB agents would go into the church and then rise in.
That's right. All of them is infiltrated.
This was a rape of the body of Christ.
You take over the colleges of education, then you take over all the teachers, then you take over all the students, and thus you get the future.
He said the ultimate objective of having government school was to destroy Christianity. Those were his words.
People's war means to destroy the opposing country through unconventional methods.
And Khrushchev bragged about it. We'll take America without firing a shot.
In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of American students without being challenged. The result you can see.
There are ravening wolves in sheep's clothing all over the place.
All right, I told you I was going away. I'm back for a little more. I hope you enjoy that trailer. I can't wait to see the documentary. Really, really important. But I just wanted to thank everyone. Here we are. It's almost 11 o'clock Eastern on a Friday night, and we've got over 2,000 people sitting here watching because you care about this country. And it's funny because after I made my troll statements, I can see all the support in the chats of that. So yeah, like let's have the troll heads roll. But anyway, on a more serious note, I just want to wish everyone a happy Independence Day. We have so much to be thankful for in this country. And while it feels like we live in a country that has already taken over completely, it's not. We have a lot of freedoms. We have our guns, we have our gold, we have our, whatever we need to have, we have our freedoms here. And we have so much to be thankful for. And I think it's important for us to reflect on what we're thankful for, because to me, that helps give me the drive to fight, to protect, and to cherish what we have in this beautiful country. And so America is a beautiful country. I am, of all the countries I could have been born into, I was born into America. Hence the name, right? Man in America. That's it. And I am so grateful to call myself an American. I'm so proud to call myself an American. I'm proud to fly my flag. I'm proud to display it all the time. I'm proud of the veterans that have sacrificed for our freedom. And as much as our country is a mess right now, it could be a lot worse. And there's far worse countries all over the world. And so we're still lucky to live in this great country. And I hope that all of us can really take that to heart and just do what it takes to protect this country. Because I've got a 4-month-old baby and a 3-year-old. And these two little girls, all I can think of is what's their future? What country am I leaving them? So yeah, thank you. So folks, anybody who's new here, make sure, especially if you're watching on Rumble, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribing to the Rumble channel. I put out videos 4 or 5 times a week. It's all free to access for you, and hope you enjoy the show. So again, thanks for visiting. Thanks for being here. It's been great being here with you. And honestly, I'm excited to be doing these live shows again. I love doing the live shows. I love being able to interact with you because you are a smart, brilliant audience. And I learn so much from you, and I am encouraged by you, especially when you thank me for my troll comments. So, all right, folks, take care. God bless. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next time.